Yeah, December is not open, but October period is open. That is why
Yes,
system
October
has,
it'll take.
yeah, yeah. So transaction date is only for the receivable modules. But when
Okay.
we are sending this particular transaction entries to the GL,
Uh-huh.
system will consider accounting date. So here accounting
Oh,
date is October.
okay.
So that is
Okay.
why system will allow and it will post the entries to GL also.
Okay. Okay.
So let's say we have selected this date as December, system
Mm-hmm.
will not allow. It will give us the validation error
Why is that?
because that period is not open. It is closed. I mean, we are ready to open that period, so it will give.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But this one automatically, the accounting date automatically comes up when the period is open, right?
Yes, correct.
So yeah. So okay.
Or else maybe we can
Yeah, for some
open the
reason, I
period.
mean, because usually it is like you either open the period or something. I've never seen this kind of difference, so that's why I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. We can open the period and we can check here. It will default basically.
Yeah, yeah, not a problem. That's okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, we can open. Yeah. So now if we see the
Yeah,
accounting
accounting
date will
date
be,
automatically comes up.
yeah. But when the period is closed, it will take the latest available period.
Mm.
So here in this case, if you see, it will take
Yeah, yeah.
the
That's why I was like, I knew it was only till October that was open, but
yeah,
since the transaction date was in December, I wasn't sure if it'll throw an error or not.
yeah, yeah. So if it is open period, it will take the transaction date as it is. If not, it will take the last date of the open period.
Yeah, it'll take the last date of the open period, but it's still processing your transaction and pushing it to GL, right? Even
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it is in December,
yeah, yes, yes,
it doesn't stop you from doing it though.
yeah, yes. We saw the full application and the partial application. That is, let's say
Mm-hmm.
our invoice amount is 2000. So we saw
Mm-hmm.
two cases. One is to apply the entire 2000, and the other case is apply 1000. So
Mm-hmm.
now what we will do is that we will apply the amount, and
Mm-hmm.
we will do a chargeback thing. So
Okay.
I'll just explain what is chargeback. So
Mm-hmm.
chargeback is a functionality where we can close the current open invoices, and we can
Okay.
open the new invoice instead of this one. So why do we do that? Is that basically, let's say I have an customer A, so who
Mm-hmm.
has purchased some item from me for, let's say, 2000 rupees.
Mm-hmm.
So here, based on this due date, that is 7 days or 10 days, I
Mm-hmm.
will calculate the payable strength of the particular customer.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a better rating, what customer will say that if it has crossed the days limit, so he will
Mm-hmm.
come and say that I'll open the new invoice. So I will
Mm-hmm.
purchase another 2 3 items. So
Mm-hmm.
close this invoice and add this invoice to the new invoice that I'm going to pay.
Okay.
So in this case, what we will do is that we will close the existing invoice and open the new invoice.
And this happens when you have like when you make partial payments only.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Because for full payment, we cannot have that because that invoice is already closed.
Already closed.
Yeah. Yeah. So we could see only 1000, that is cash to receivables.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now customer comes and says that he don't want to have this open invoice.
Mm-hmm.
So what we will do is that
Create chargeback.
yeah, before that we will unapply the application that we did.
Okay.
So I'll say 12th, I mean 7th December,
Mm-hmm.
and in action again I'll say create chargeback.
That's grayed out actually. On the top. Not this one, but the other main box that opened up. Yeah, if you click there on the top, fourth one from the top.
Yeah,
I think when you unapply, it takes away the 1,000 that you applied also, right?
yeah, yes, yes.
I think we have to directly create that maybe. Hmm. Earlier it showed create. Okay, didn't save it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this process is for a refund. Yeah, correct.
Okay. That's why I was thinking, why are we
Yeah,
unapplying? Because I thought if we
yeah,
unapply, then it'll become 2000, right? I was
yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Okay. So you keep the reason as a write-off?
Yeah, we can just keep this as write-off.
But normally, what are the things that go with this chargeback? It can be any reason, or it's always write-off.
Yeah, it's not write-off. It can be any reason, maybe for charges or offset
This.
for
Okay. Okay.
anything. Or if you have a custom reason, we can add it. So this is
Hmm.
only lookup actually.
Okay. Anything can be picked. Doesn't matter which one. I mean,
Yeah,
depending on what the situation is, of course.
yeah, yeah, correct.
Mhm. So what does write-off mean? Write-off means you're writing off the
Yeah,
amount.
yeah, yes, correct. We are closing this amount. So here the meaning is that we are not taking this to a new invoice.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we are just writing off this particular amount.
Uh,
So write off,
then,
yeah,
okay, but how does it help the company when you write it off like this? If somebody looks at this, right? I
yeah,
mean, let's say a user looks at it. When you say write off, does that mean, I mean, can it be interpreted as the customer doesn't have to pay the 1,000?
yeah. He doesn't have to pay that 1,000. So most of the cases, write off will work for two cases. One is for the bad debts. So for the
Mm-hmm.
bad debts, if we know that this particular customer is not going to pay back,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
will write off. And the other
Mm-hmm.
case is that for precision and the other things, the
Mm-hmm.
amount will be little more than 2 digit. So for
Yes.
those
Uh-huh.
cases, they will do the write off.
Mm-hmm.
But for chargeback cases, they will not do write off basically. But I have just selected this
You
option.
just picked it. Okay. There's no type.
Yeah, type should be there.
Is that some kind of a setup we missed?
Yeah, setup already we did actually.
So the type is what is just picks up whatever you gave in the GL activity. Is that what that picks up?
Type in the sense, the
When you were
receivable.
doing the chargeback, right?
Yeah,
You had the type which we found blank.
yeah,
So now that you created something there, uh, will that automatically populate that drop down
yeah.
type?
It should come. I have created already, but somehow it is not showing in the list of values. So that is the only configuration.
Because it did not say anywhere type on that whatever you had the setups. Is it going to pick the type from the transactions, or is it going to pick the type from the receipt?
Yeah, we should have the transaction type as well, but that already
Mm.
I have created it actually.
Is there some checkbox or something? There you go. Charge bar.
I'll create a new one.
Mm-hmm. You have too many A's.
Maybe after refresh, I did. I lost few transaction. I think. I mean, I didn't create it. I think
Mm.
because earlier I had transaction type also. Yeah, I think probably now we should get the list of values.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is the one actually.
Hmm. Yeah, that's why I was thinking because it's a
Yeah.
type, right? So,
So for now, I'll just say offset, but in real times, it will not be offset. It will
hmm,
be kind of a new bill actually. So we need to add the LOV there. So for now, it's just
what will it be usually? What is that you said?
new bill. We'll say
New
new,
bill.
yeah. Or
Okay.
if we wanted to use offset and we wanted to use in the comment section so that we
Hmm.
can make use of it.
Okay.
So this is our chargeback adjustment number.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the chargeback is created.
Hmm.
We'll just account this. Yeah. Yeah. So this is our chargeback. Basically,
Hmm.
we created in the receipt application.
Hmm.
So there we did the chargeback. So that will create a new invoice. So that is this one. and
Okay.
we have this chargeback created automatically for the older invoice that we created
Mm-hmm.
initially. So which means
Okay.
this will get knocked off. So we can see that
Mm.
reason as offset.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what about chargeback.
So this chargeback is only applied in against invoices. I mean, will it be applied against credits or debits?
No, this is only for invoice actually. We cannot apply against debit or credit memo.
Okay.
Because if you see the receipt that we are creating is against the invoice, like credit
Mm-hmm.
or debit, whichever we are adding or
Mm-hmm.
reducing the value. So it is
Mm-hmm.
going to affect only the invoice that we have created initially.
Okay.
That is why we will apply the chargeback on the invoice.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is done. Yeah. We didn't see the refund part, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have applied it. So the amount is 10,000. So we don't have any due on this particular invoice.
Mm-hmm.
So now customer has paid it, and customer says that some of the products are defect. So he
Mm-hmm.
wants to get the refund. So what we will do is that to get the refund, so we will do the unapplication. So this is
Mm-hmm.
where we will do it. So I was just confused and I did this. So
Yeah.
here if
What
you see,
if the customer, let's say the customer wants only partial amount applied or refunded? What do you do in that case? You still unapply the entire amount?
yeah, we will unapply and we will give the partial amount. We will
Partial
process
refund.
basically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, here in this refund amount,
Hmm.
we will say 5,000.
Okay.
I mean, in case of,
If it is partial.
yeah, yeah. So I have just selected the Tata Pay that we created
Mm-hmm.
in the AP configuration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is done.
When do you do the on account application, whatever that is?
Yeah, on account is something that when we get the refund, I mean, when we get the request from the customer to refund,
Okay.
but we will not refund the amount. Instead, we will have it as an advance or for the future use. So that is when we
Okay.
will use the on account. So in the
On account. Okay.
future billing, we will just adjust with that particular amount
Okay.
because there will be some
It's
cases.
almost like a credit, right?
Yeah, yes, correct.
Okay.
So they can avail it for the future purchases.
Okay. Unaccounted. So now where are you? Are you in AP? Where is
Yeah,
this?
yeah, it is in AP.
Okay. Hold on a second. Okay.
Actually, there we have processed the refund. So
Uh-huh.
now it has come for the payment request for the refund requested.
Yeah. So this has to go through AP then.
Yeah, yes, correct. Yeah. So if you see, this is our customer, that is Tata Auto 03 customer,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount that we gave for refund is 10,000,
Mm-hmm.
and this was our invoice number in receivables. So
Mm-hmm.
this will replicate in AP as well for the reconciliation purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what. So what we will do is that we will just say that validated. I mean, we will just say pay in full, and we will make the payment.
Okay. So even if it is 5,000 rupees, say it's partial, it will still say pay it in full, right?
Yeah, yes, correct.
Okay.
Pay it in full.
Payment date, maturity date.
That's a AP
Oh,
period is
AP is
not done.
not open, I think. Okay.
Yeah. So this is done.
Mhm.
Yeah. So next, what we will see is that AP and AR netting. Uh,
Okay.
so basically, AP and AR netting is used when we have same customer as an supplier as well. So for those cases, we can use the AP and AR netting.
So you mean to say he is a supplier as well as he's the customer?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So we will have both the payable transaction and we will also have the receivable transaction. So
Mhm.
that is when we will basically use the AP and AR netting.
So what would be a typical example for that? Uh, when would a customer be a supplier and a supplier be a customer?
Yeah. So for example, let's take the steel manufacturing.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Hmm.
I'm into IT business. So
Hmm.
customer is into steel. So I'm doing an let's say the construction for my IT business. So I will
Okay.
procure from this particular. We can say either, let's say party. This
Hmm.
party called Tata Steel. So he is
Hmm.
selling me something. So which
Hmm.
means he becomes my what do you call the
Vendor.
vendor.
Hmm.
Now let's assume that I mean Tata Steel also need the IT support. So we
Hmm.
are into IT. So we are
So
giving service to them. So now they become
he
our
becomes the customer.
customer.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
in this case, for me also both vendor and customer. So for steel also both vendor and customer.
Hmm.
So for
Yeah.
these cases, we can make use of AP and AR netting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will every company have APR knitting concept implemented?
No, not every company. So only few
Just
companies will have that.
okay.
Okay. So uh, so the first configuration for this is to add the role. So I have
Okay.
added the role. So the role is that customer and supplier netting and netting manager. So these are the two roles that we need.
Hmm.
So I'll just navigate here and I'll show or maybe I'll just show it from here. I think I lost I lost an refresh. I'll
Oh,
just
the
add.
rules.
Yeah.
So the refresh, it's like it's refreshing your roles, and it also what it refreshes some of the setups, not all of the setups. How does
Uh,
it work?
yeah. Actually, it will refresh the entire this thing if there is an maintenance. So there are two
Mm.
ways. So one is that if they are changing the URL frequently, so we
Mm-hmm.
will lose our all configurations. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is that it will refresh only the this thing existing load, and the other things it will remove, but the
Mm-hmm.
configuration and everything will remain same. But
Yeah, okay.
my case, it has been removed, but I'm doing from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so there I'm missing one or two configurations. Yeah, so we have added the role, and we have given access to this BU called Tata Auto 03.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next setup is to give in the bank. So we have created a bank as well. So I'll just check once if the access remains there.
So is this the same bank as the one that's there in AP?
Yeah, yes, yes, same bank. So banks are basically common. So we have two banks.
Mm-hmm.
So in real time, we will have one is payment bank and the another one is collection bank.
Mm-hmm.
So we will have the bank transfer between the collection bank and payment bank, so that we will
Mm-hmm.
have enough funds to basically make the payments.
Mm-hmm.
So banks are common. So I'll just take the same bank which we used for payments. Okay, I'll just enable this bank account for
Mm-hmm.
netting. So I'll just say this is a netting account.
Mm-hmm.
So the remaining configuration we have already done when we are doing the AP configuration. So I'll just
Okay.
leave those things as it is.
So let's say a company doesn't have API or netting. Can we
Okay.
just check that netting thing and keep it ready?
Yeah,
No, right?
yeah, yeah, we can keep it, but we will not be able to use anything. So
Yeah, yeah.
it
But
is
it's
just,
not going to cause any problem anywhere,
yeah,
even
yeah,
if it have a checked.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, so we are done with this. And another configuration is for the receive in receivable we will have unrelated transaction. So
Mm-hmm.
we have already enabled this particular option. So I'll just show it from here. Yeah, this also went. So I have enabled it.
Mm-hmm.
Allow payment of unrelated transaction.
This is specifically checked for API or netting, or is this different?
Yeah, so allow payment for unrelated transaction is nothing but let's say I wanted to create a transaction that is let's say I have an scenario that this can be used for multiple purpose, but in
Mm-hmm.
our purpose we are making use of for API netting.
Mm-hmm.
But there will be other cases as well. Let's say I have an scenario where I have one customer. So this
Mm-hmm.
customer has to pay to the another customer. So he's kind of an only a dealer or who gets for the margin.
Mm-hmm.
So what he will say is that he will say that instead of paying me, so directly pay to my particular vendor.
Mm-hmm.
So what we will do is that we will make the payment to the actual vendor instead of passing through this pass-through party. So that is
Okay.
also possible. So for that purpose, what we will do is that we will say allow payment of unrelated transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is the usage of this particular option.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have enabled this as well. So now what we can do is that we can try to create an agreement. So we will create the agreement where we will specify a few rules and the other things, and we will try to generate the netting.
Hmm.
So this netting can be seen both at receivable and payable. So I'll
Hmm.
just go to the receivable. So if it is receivable, it is in the receipt bucket. If it is payable, it is on the payable bucket.
Hmm. So why do we actually do this netting?
Yeah, so netting is to knock off instead of paying it. So let's say I have procured maybe steel contains $10,000.
Hmm.
So I don't want to pay it because
Okay.
anyway this
You will be
particular,
providing services.
yeah, so I can knock off with that particular this thing. So whatever is
Okay.
beyond this 10,000 or whatever the receivable, so
Hmm.
that I'm going to pay. So that is the
Okay.
understanding.
Okay. Okay. Because I hear these terms, but I don't know what they do actually. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just add an agreement.
So this create netting agreements is also under transactions only, right? I mean that sidebar, whatever.
No, this is not transaction. This is receipt actually.
Oh, can you
Yeah,
just navigate?
yeah.
So home.
Yeah, so under accounts receivable, where we will create a receipt,
Hmm.
so we will click here, and if we click the sidebar, we will have at bottom of the page,
Okay.
we will have agreement and we will have the settlement.
Okay.
So initially we will create the agreement and we will specify the rules here,
Hmm.
and based on this, we will process our settlements.
Okay. When you say netting agreement business rules, it's kind of a setup only, right? This one?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
We are basically specifying the rules, how this should work.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can give like from when actually the netting will start.
Hmm.
So I'm saying 1st of December till probably 30th of 31st of December.
Hmm.
And here we have a netting bank account. Since we have selected only for this particular bank account, system has
Hmm.
automatically taken this account, or else we can select from the list of values.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have netting order rule. So how do we want to
Hmm.
have this netting to be selected? Whether it is to be due date from the oldest to the most recent, or
Hmm.
it should be from the transaction date of the oldest to the most recent, or probably we wanted to have based on the amount, so that we can
Hmm.
give it like ascending or the descending.
Okay.
So here I'll just say based on the due date, that is from oldest to the most recent.
Hmm. So which will be from December 1st
Yeah,
to
yeah,
December. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
correct. And here we have netting balance rule. So how do we want to manage our netting? So do we want to have this netting always, or net when payable is greater than the receivable?
Mm.
So net always in the sense it will knock off always. The
Okay.
second option is that when we have only the payable, so that is when we are going to see some values there.
Okay.
Without this, when we don't have the payable amount, so we will
Hmm.
not be able to do the settlement. So that is the understanding.
Hmm.
So I'll just say net always, And if you wanted to give the group for it, we can give. So for now, I have just left it open.
Hmm. What usually is a netting group?
Netting group is something like it will basically classify. Let's say I have this netting for two different. Let's say I have one for the department one
Hmm.
or process one. Let's say I
Hmm.
deliver three product services. So one is
Hmm.
based out in Oracle, one is related to SAP, and the
Hmm.
other one related to Salesforce. So
Hmm.
here what I will say is that netting group is one for Oracle, one for SAP, and the
Hmm.
another one for maybe different purpose. So
Okay.
I can basically categorize my netting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can this be categorized by something, the pay group or something like that also?
Uh, that is also one kind of categorization we can make it. But pay group is specific to payable.
Hmm.
But whereas here, if you see, this
It's
is
for
not,
both
yeah, for both.
the receivables and payables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we should have the common one actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
So basically, this has to be defined somewhere beginning in the configurations.
yeah, yes, correct.
Only then you can use it here.
Yeah, so we didn't create it, so that's why the group is blank.
Okay.
Yeah, and whether we wanted to allow the early settlement. So if at all we are allowing early settlement, so we will have the discount part or not. So that is what we are specifying. So we don't
Okay.
want to have the discount part for this.
Hmm.
So I have just left this. And how do we want to manage our currency? So whether we wanted to use the single currency or
Hmm.
we wanted to have it for the multiple currencies. So for now, I'll just say multiple currencies as it is.
Hmm.
And we have here the payable and the receivable related configuration. So whether
Hmm.
we wanted to apply this particular netting for all the pay groups or
Hmm.
only a few pay groups, or maybe
Hmm.
if we have maybe hundreds of pay group, so we
Hmm.
can just say in exclude one or two
Hmm.
pay groups to be excluded.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I have selected all here since we are not using based on the pay group.
Uh-huh.
And here we have basically we can select the standard invoice
Hmm.
and we can select the credit memo or the debit memo.
Okay.
So I'll just select the standard invoice.
Hmm.
And similarly here in receivable, I have selected all transaction type. Maybe if we wanted to filter, we can filter here.
Okay. So since you selected payables invoice type as standard,
Yeah.
so the netting will happen only for the standard invoices. Let's say if you had some credit and debit, it will
Yeah.
not do any netting on those.
Yeah. Yes. It will not consider. So
Okay.
if at all we have those adjustment and the other things, so we
Hmm.
should add another transaction type saying that credit or
Yeah.
debit memo.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that is when our system will consider those things. Yeah. So transaction type also has selected as all.
Hmm.
And here I will specify the supplier and the customer.
Okay.
Yeah. So here for our this thing, for our understanding, I have selected only two things. I mean, only one
Hmm.
uh,
Vendor
supplier
and one
and one
customer.
customer. So if
Hmm.
if we have multiple sites, we can add it by adding here. So we will have option to add any number of customer, I mean supplier or supply site.
Hmm.
So I have just
Let's
add.
say there are 500 customers and 500 suppliers.
Yeah,
So you have to do it manually. No way of just putting it in a Excel or something and pushing it in a bulk.
yeah, we
You
don't
can't do
have.
any of those. You
Yeah,
have to do it one by one.
yeah, correct.
Okay. And this setup, the netting balance rule or whatever this business rules,
Yeah,
is only for one business unit that you have selected.
yes,
Let's
correct.
say you have multiple ones, then you'll have to create that 500 for every business unit.
Yeah, separately we have to create.
Okay.
That's what that depends actually. So here, if we see
Mm-hmm.
in our organization structure, we have one legal entity, and under that we have one business unit.
Mm-hmm.
But let's assume that there is a business case that I don't know taxation part how it will work in US. So do we have something like taxation will differ from one state to other state, or it will be
Yes, yes,
okay?
it'll differ.
Yeah. So in this case, we cannot use or you call the multiple operating unit or the multiple business unit under one legal entity. So
Mm-hmm.
what we will do is that let's take California. So for the
Mm-hmm.
California business, what we will say is that legal entity is one.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, California will have one legal entity, and under this, we might have maybe let's say 20 business unit. So
Mm-hmm.
this 20 business unit will operate under this particular legal entity.
Mm-hmm.
So this 20 business unit, what we are seeing, so this
Mm-hmm.
will come under this one legal entity. So we will
Mm-hmm.
create only part, this part that is a legal entity, and we
Mm-hmm.
will say that the vendor will be so and so, like
Mm-hmm.
50 or 100, whatever it is. So
Mm-hmm.
we can add it. So for this 20 business unit that we are having it under this particular legal entity, that
Mm-hmm.
can be made use of it.
Mm-hmm.
But for the New York and the other legal entities, so again we will have to set it up manually. So that is how this will work.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the legal entity configuration will be always based on the taxation and the other things.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends. Like for India cases, we will not basically go for multiple legal entities, because if you see, typically the registration is only one, even though
Uh-huh.
they operate under multiple states. So the
Mm-hmm.
registration will be one. So
Mm-hmm.
that depends on the taxation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what there are two things. So if it is one, we don't have any issue, because all the operating, I mean, all the business units will
Mm-hmm.
fall under this particular legal entity. So we will just add the additional vendors and customers.
Mm-hmm.
But in case of US business scenario, we will have to add it manually.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And we have letters. So this is standard format that I'm using as it is.
Mm-hmm. There's no English.
What is here?
No, it's not in an alphabetical order. Okay. Policy with the check option violation has been created. What's that? Oh, agreement name is probably what it's saying. You have something already using Tata underscore 90.
This I haven't used. Maybe I will try.
No, I'm just saying because it said something like that. So I thought maybe it's that. We'll see. No. Again, this also it's saying it has been created. The check option violation. Where the heck is that policy with check option violation? The only checkbox I see is that allow early settlement discount.
Yeah, we don't have anything apart from this. So we just used the standard thing. We didn't even complicate it. So I don't know why.
Is there anything? Send letters by email. That's the other checkbox. Anything down? Nothing, right?
Yeah, we don't have
So
anything. Yeah,
I think it's time for your work also, right? It's almost 9.
yeah, we'll just complete this and maybe the transaction part we will see it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So you're creating another one, right?
Yeah, yes,
Start.
yeah.
Nothing letter. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check this. Maybe some other issue, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see this one tomorrow.
So tomorrow, what time? Same time in the evening, or is it in the morning? I mean, your morning, my evening. What?
Yeah, my time morning. We will have it same time like
Okay.
today.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
See ya.
yeah. Thanks.
Bye.